All right, Coach. So thank you so much for talking with me today. So first of all, how do you think this team has done over the course of this fall season? Catch me up on how you guys have been doing.
Yeah, I think we're pretty happy with how the fall season went. One exception was the blessings, and that was kind of the hurricane week, and I think we were thrown off a little bit there. But outside of that event, I think we proved that we're at least a top 20 team, and we can compete with anybody. That Tennessee event was kind of our coming out party, as they say, when we went toe-to-toe with Wake Forest, and they're ranked third in the country, and we could have won that tournament. We had it down to the last hole, so that kind of is your measuring stick, when you're a coach of you get opportunities to go up against absolutely the best teams, and how do you stack up, and we went toe-to-toe with them. So pretty happy about the fall season.
You also had that MLK match play I saw that you did on that weekend. You took down both Michigan State and Florida. I remember you mentioning that your team was tailor made last year to do really well in match play. Is that still the case this season?
Yeah, obviously we have Jess Baker winning the British Amateur. We call her the match play queen, so she kind of gave us some pointers. And, match play is a fun format where you just play for that point for your team, and you just play hole by hole, and it doesn't matter what you score in that hole. You just go to the next one. And ironically, that's what our national championship is, match play, which is a little bizarre that we don't play it all year except for the national championship. So we wanted to give them some experience in that format. And, like I always say, it's any day you beat the Gators is a good day, so we were pretty happy.
Let's talk about Jess for a second there. You mentioned that she won the women's amateur. She's going to be competing at Augusta later on this year. So tell me, what's Jess's year been like, and what do you think we could see out of her this season?
Yeah, Jess would tell you her life changed in 1 week, right? So she got to play in all of the majors. So starting last summer, the British Open, the Avion. She got to play in the Canadian Open. This spring she'll play in Augusta, and then she gets in the U.S. Open at Pebble Beach this summer. So just a dream year for Jess, right? And she has to manage it a little bit with expectations. And, I always tell her it's a good thing. Sometimes when you get the spotlight on you, that's a lot of pressure as an athlete, that now people look at you not just as Jess Baker, but you're Jess Baker, the British Am champ. So, we've been trying to manage that, and that's, she's been doing a good job of that. And, I think that her confidence just continues to build, and, we're excited for her to go to Augusta and be on the biggest stage in women's amateur golf anyway and represent UCF.
So Zoe Alou was a little bit of a freshman phenom for you guys last year. What do you think we could see out of her in year two?
Yeah, I think that Zoe, she's one of our kind of under the radar players, right? I think sometimes maybe she doesn't get enough credit, but she's really one of our anchors. She just has the little things she's got to get a little bit sharper, and we talk to her about that a lot, but she's very, very close to just breaking through. And the thing with Zoe is she never gives up. That's the one thing I love about Zoe is it doesn't matter if she starts off bad. She's going to play hard till the end, and that's something that her teammates really admire about her too.
So she has her fellow French woman with her, Camille Banzet. She got off to a pretty solid fall in the last season, but it kind of tapered off a little at the end there. What can you tell us about Camille's off season, and what do you think we could see from her this time around?
Yeah, Cam's been working really hard, and I think she's had some challenges, but we think she could contend for the lineup maybe a little bit this spring, but I think more so maybe even into next year. The thing is with someone like Cam, you get talent in like Sandwich, came in and took a spot in the lineup, and I always tell, upperclassmen, there's always somebody coming after you, a freshman, a sophomore, so, she's got a good game, and I think that if she keeps working hard, she'll be back in the lineup.
So you have two new additions to the team. One of them is a transfer from Campbell and a Nordforce. What would you say attracted you to recruit her, and what does she bring to this team?
Yeah, we saw Anna a lot, competing against Campbell. Campbell's a very well-respected women's golf program. They always have been, and Anna's big, tall, powerful Swedish girl who I always loved watching. She's a competitor. She works really hard, and she has really been a nice addition to our team, both on and off the golf course. She's an instant leader, being a fifth-year senior. She's the hardest worker on the team. She just really loves to compete. And I think, as you know, you've seen our lineup a lot. We needed her this year, and she stepped in, and I think she can help get us to that national championship, and she's excited about that too. I mean, she went to Q school for LPGA, and she has some status, so, she's looking forward to that. But I think that she's working towards that goal, and that only benefits us that she's working so hard to get to the LPGA.
Well, last season, the standout player for your team, I would say, was Pat Pitton. She's going into her senior year this season. She ended up finishing second in the AAC championship individually. So, I mean, it seems like she's been a rock of you guys' team. What have you seen from Pat this fall, and do you think that she'll be able to get that last place in the AAC title?
Yeah, I mean, Pat has been our rock for 4 years, right? She's so steady, so consistent. That's what I say. The word with Pat is consistent. I mean, she's got such a consistent swing, such a consistent mindset. She comes to every single tournament trying to win. But I think, again, being a senior last semester, sometimes that can be a lot. So we're just trying to manage those expectations and take it day by day with her. And, honestly, Bryson, we don't talk a lot about, hey, Conference Player of the Year. Right now she's ranked 8th in the country. She could be first-team All-American. And she has said, I don't want to talk about that a lot. So, a lot of that as a coach is knowing what your players need. Some players are motivated by some of those goals, and other players say, hey, I just want to go day by day, do my best. And that's kind of the player Pat is. She just does the work at the end of the tournament, see where that leaves her, and she's satisfied with that. So, like I said, being a coach in an individual sport, you have to know your players pretty well of who wants a lot of goals, who doesn't want to talk about goals. And we've been trying to manage that a little bit with Pat.
Well, she's going to be having a fellow Thai golfer on the team with her as she goes on this journey of her senior season. She goes by her nickname Sandwich, as I'm seeing on her profile page. And I noticed that she's been in the lineup a lot for you guys this fall. So what can you tell us about Sandwich, and what do you think we could see from her this spring?
Well, we hope she gets like a Jimmy John's collective deal or some NIL deal with Subway or something. But, her nickname is Sandwich. In Thailand, your parents give you a nickname at birth. So they all get nicknames. And Pat, obviously, is Pat. Sandwich is Sandwich. So Sandwich is, I'll tell you, if we could have 5 more Sandwiches next year, she is unbelievable. She's a hard worker. She's very motivated, dedicated. She's one of the nicest people I've ever been around, and the girls love her. And I think it's good for her and Pat to have each other, to have somebody when you're so far away from home. They're half a world away from their families, and they don't get to see them very often. So it's a comfort to have Sandwich there with Pat. But, again, she's the same as Pat. She's very steady, very consistent. Keeps a level head on the golf course. I think she loves being on the team, and we're excited to maybe see her next year blossom into that top position. And I think that's maybe what she's aiming for, is to take over when Pat graduates, that she kind of fills those shoes.
What is it like? What's that recruiting process like? Was it just a coincidence that you went to Thailand again for another player, or like what is it about that Thai pipeline there?
It's funny with recruiting. Sometimes as a coach you think you have it figured out, and sometimes it's just a crapshoot. I was going to another tournament, got a phone call about Sandwich. She had originally verbally committed to Kent State. Their coach left, took a job at Ohio State, and they didn't have a scholarship for her, and she didn't want to go without a coach not knowing. So they called and said, hey, she doesn't want to, go to Kent anymore. So that's kind of how that worked out. I never saw her play. I knew her scores from junior golf and her world ranking, and it just all worked out.
So you start off this spring with the UCF Challenge here at home. What do you want to see from your team in that home tournament, and what's the biggest thing that you want to see this team do before you head to the American Athletic Conference Championships in April?
Yeah, I mean, again, we just go day by day, week by week, piecing together good rounds. Obviously with a strong field that we have, I mean, I think if we finish in the top 3 or 4 would be an amazing accomplishment here, but you never know with this group. I mean, I learned that real quick in the fall. I think we could compete with anybody, and nothing they do surprises me. We could go win this tournament. That's how good they are. So, this time of year, you're just trying to look for some consistency, just trying to score. That's this time of year, you're trying to score and put some scores together so that by the conference championship that you're feeling confident and put some good scores together and be ready to move into postseason.
How well would you say, because this will be your last spring in the American, you'll be moving on to the Big 12 with most of the other teams at UCF. How well would you say your team is positioned to go into that Big 12? I don't know if that's going to change much beyond which conference tournament you go to, but how well would you say your team is positioned to make that move?
Yeah, it probably doesn't affect us as much as other sports. The conference change, like you said, it's only the conference championship. Our schedule kind of stays the same throughout the year, but Big 12 is very strong in women's golf. We've got TCU and Oklahoma State and Texas Tech, and they're all. Iowa State right now is ranked 21st, so it's very strong in women's golf, and we'll be ready, no doubt, come next year. We're excited about it. Again, it's only one tournament a year for us that you go play the conference championship, but I think if you can win the Big 12, that means you're one of the best teams in the country.
What is the biggest thing that you want UCF, the Unite Nation, to know about this team as they go into this season?
I think just what I said. I think that unlimited expectations. I think that don't be surprised if you see us at the national championship playing for a national title. I honestly believe that, and I keep telling them that. Just believe in themselves, and we can be there. And I truly, we're a small team. We only have 6, but man, we're good. And I think that you just never know in golf. The thing is with golf, you don't win very often. It's hard to win, but we don't really focus on that. We're just focusing on playing good golf week after week. And I would not be surprised if you see this group at that national championship at Greyhawk in May competing for a national championship.
Well, awesome. Good luck on that journey, Coach.
Thanks, Bryson. I really appreciate everything you know about our team. It's really nice to talk to somebody who knows so much.